Tonight on The Big Story, Senator judges locked horns on Day 7 of Vice President Duterte's trial. They argued about matters, personal and political, outside of issues in the impeachment court.
Huwag po nating gamitin ang oras ng impeachment court sa pagpapaliwanag o sa pagtatanggol ng ating mga sarili simula pa po noong nakaraang linggo. Because the time we waste here to defend ourselves, defend what we believe or what have you, is an injustice to the Vice President. Yung oras po na ito dapat ilaan natin sa pakikinig sa depensa ng Vice Presidente, sa mga akusasyon laban sa Vice Presidente, hindi po pagdidepensa sa mga sarili natin kung tayo inaakusahan ng kung anong mga ahensya, kung tayo po ay may mga kaso, may mga investigasyon. This is not the right forum, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Sabi ni Senator Joker Arroyo, it is useless to argue a legal point with a non-lawyer.
I do not have 4 years of law, but I have 29 years of lawmaking. And I move that the manifestations that we have heard be referred to the Senate proper.
Meantime, the impeachment court grants the prosecution's request to summon most of the VP and her husband's financial records. Don't forget the phrases of the day: fruit of the poisonous tree and fishing expedition. And a Philippine Navy personnel sustained serious head injuries after Chinese Coast Guard members struck his group with a wooden baton, an act Filipino authorities called hostile, provocative, and plain unacceptable. Good evening, I'm Ces Oreña Drilon. We begin with Senator judges engaging in a heated procedural debate over manifestations in the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Tensions flared at the session's onset, sparked by a speech from Robin Hood Padilla. This is the big story tonight from mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
Huwag po nating gamitin ang oras ng impeachment court sa pagpapaliwanag o sa pagtatanggol ng ating mga sarili.
On Day 7 of the VP's historic trial, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo publicly urged his colleagues to avoid using valuable court time to defend themselves from unrelated personal issues. He stressed the impeachment tribunal is not the proper forum for such matters. Tulfo cited manifestations over the past few days that had nothing to do with efforts to oust the Vice President.
Yung oras po na ito dapat ilaan natin sa pakikinig sa depensa ng Vice Presidente, sa mga akusasyon laban sa Vice Presidente, hindi po pagdidepensa sa mga sarili natin kung tayo inaakusahan ng kung anong mga ahensya.
Tulfo advised fellow senator judges there are other means such as media interviews or social media to discuss concerns unrelated to the trial.
Let us do this impeachment trial as quickly as possible. If we have to clear the Vice President, then let's clear her. If we have to prosecute, then prosecute her with the evidence kung meron. This is not the right forum, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Kindly wind up,
Mr.
Senator
Senate President.
Judge Erwin Tulfo.
This is not the right forum for us to defend ourselves. Bring it somewhere else. Bring it to the press. Bring it to the social media, but not here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Tulfo spoke out after Senator Judge Robin Hood Padilla's manifestation, denying the ombudsman's statement he did not submit a counter-affidavit for an obstruction of justice complaint. Padilla and Senator Judge Alan Peter Cayetano are among the respondents of that complaint. Cayetano was next to stand up, speaking further arguments on courtroom procedure.
The integrity of the court and the justices or judges is always relevant. So if the Supreme Court or COMELEC, Court of Tax Appeals, Sandigan Bayan is being heard and the judges are being threatened, you give them time. So we cannot take the impeachment out of context. So I'm just saying, Senator Padilla just stood up to say, sumusunod siya sa batas, tapos. Kaya humaba to dahil nga hindi importante ata dito yung integrity ng judge. Lastly, sabi ni Senator Joker Arroyo, it is useless to argue a legal point with a non-lawyer.
I do not have 4 years of law, but I have 29 years of lawmaking. And I move that the manifestations of that we have heard be referred to the Senate proper.
In the end, presiding officer Senator Chis Escudero decided that Padilla's statements would remain part of the court record. However, they would be referred to the Senate proper.
The chair rules that the manifestation of Senator Judge Padilla shall remain in the records, but referred to the Senate Senate as a legislative body where it may be taken up. I ask the indulgence of the parties to this case. Wala po kasi kaming sesyon. Ito lang po ang pagkakataong nakakapagsalita at nagkikita-kita kami habang recess kami. Pero umaasa ako, within hearing distance of my colleagues, na kapag nag-resume na po ang Senado sa susunod na linggo matapos ang sona ng Pangulo, may pagkakataon na po ang bawat miyembro ng Senado bilang senador, hindi bilang senator judge, na mailabas yung mga hinaing.
We wasted 26 minutes for nothing. Thank you po.
After almost half an hour of back and forth, the impeachment trial then formally began for the day. Kapatid Arles de Los Santos, we are One News.
When the impeachment trial finally got underway, the court approved to summon tax, bank, and AMLAC records of VP Sara Duterte and her husband Mans Carpio. However, presiding officer Francis Escudero did not allow foreign currency deposits to be included in the subpoena, which covers records of the couple from 2007 to 2021. In a lengthy explanation, Escudero said that the bank records are related to the allegations stated in the impeachment case. The court also considered any funds deposited in Attorney Carpio's bank account to be part of the jointly owned community property with the respondent VP Sara. The bank secrecy law likewise recognizes impeachment cases as an exception to the confidentiality of bank deposits. Escudero said it is not the first time that bank records have been examined by an impeachment trial, citing the case of former Supreme Court Chief Justice Renato Corona. Therefore, the defense's objection to the prosecution's motion was dismissed or overruled.
After a careful examination of the records requested, the court finds that the requested documents meet the requirements set forth above. They are reasonably described, readily identifiable, prima facie relevant, and material to the allegations under Article 2. In granting that request, the court cited Section 2 of Republic Act No. 1405, which expressly recognizes cases of impeachment as an exception to the confidentiality of bank deposits and the rights to privacy of depositors. As to the requested period from 2007 to 2021, the defense's objection is overruled. The respondents' invocation of what they referred to as offenses in term, quote-unquote, in their memorandum, doctrine in Duterte versus HOR, does not avail.
The prosecution had requested that the Vice President's tax and bank records be opened so they can be used as evidence for the allegation of unexplained wealth. House Prosecutor Chel Jokno insisted opening these documents should not be considered intrusive or an invasion of privacy of the Vice President and her husband. He said these are necessary to obtain the required data and information related to the case. Jokno also cited previous Supreme Court decisions painting a bigger picture to determine whether the source of the Vice President's money is legitimate or not.
Ang SALN po kasi ay parang snapshot lang po yan, year-end, kung ano yung mga assets, liabilities, and net worth ng isang government official. Ang ITR din po ay parang short video lang po yan ng mga transaksyon ng isang taxpayer sa kabuuan ng taon na yon. Makikita lang po natin yung buong larawan pag nailabas natin ang mga bank records. Kasi doon po yung day-to-day na lumabas at pumasok sa isang account ay mabubuo po natin.
For their part, Defense Team Counsel Michael Poa maintained that opening the Duterte Carpio tax and bank records is a fishing expedition POA explained the articles of impeachment do not contain any ultimate facts, contrary to their position that there should already be sufficient evidence and specific facts before requesting sensitive documents.
But they want those documents nonetheless to see if something there will actually help support their allegations. That is why we are calling it a fishing expedition. Sa aming pananaw, sa dami ng hinihing dokumento, para po itong nagtatapon po tayo sa dagat ng isang napakalaking lambat at umaasa tayo na kahit papano may mabingwit kahit isang pirasong ebidensya.
But the prosecution was adamant the articles of impeachment contain complete ultimate facts, one of which are records from AMLAC showing 6.7 billion pesos allegedly passed through the VP's bank accounts. Now let's dissect day 7 of the Duterte impeachment trial, and joining me again is lawyer Rafi Aquino. Welcome back to the big story.
Magandang gabi ulit, Ses, and thank you for having me back at sa mga tagapanood natin.
Okay, unang-una, it's a major win for the prosecution.
Definitely. My wife was telling me, so this is how it feels to live in a country where accountability is taken seriously.
You were surprised?
Yes, because I've tried not to expect too much from the impeachment court.
Para hindi ka ma-disappoint.
Ma-disappoint. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. We were expecting, remember last week, we thought that they would have to stand up to explain their vote, but it appears that after a caucus, there was some agreement.
Yes, that's right. And really, procedurally, this is already allowed under the rules of the impeachment court, where the presiding officer can rule on certain matters. The House would have been divided, or rather the court would have been divided if there were a sizable number of dissents, and there was already some consolidation of dissents. Then I would suppose that the dissenting justices could have asked for oral arguments, and then for them to divide the House and vote.
But they didn't have the numbers.
I am guessing that was the situation.
Although Senator Alan Peter Cayetano said he would explain his vote,
Yes.
Because he agreed with some and disagreed with some, but there were others who raised their hand as well.
Well, it's
Senator Loren Legarda and Camille Villar, if I recall.
the submission of separate opinions, whether concurring or dissenting, is really par for the course insofar as collegiate bodies are concerned. Sandigan Bayan, the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals. Yeah, so it's allowed.
Just for the record.
Just for the record. Yeah.
Now, Attorney Poa made a valiant attempt. What are his remedies? Kasi sinabi naman ni Chel Joc, no, that they can still argue on the admissibility once these records are brought to court.
Yes.
Can you explain how that will, the procedure that will happen eventually when this article, the last, no, I think it's the last article that they will
Yes.
present, is tackled, when it's tackled?
Well, in purely judicial proceedings, in litigation, you object to evidence once it is offered. With regard to documents, that comes after the testimony of the witness identifying the document and testifying on that document. After that, after the prosecution or the defense rests its case, they offer the evidence, the documentary evidence, identifying the purpose for which each document is offered in evidence. And that will be, the opposing party is then given a chance to oppose, whether on grounds of admissibility or relevance.
Okay. So they can still use that avenue.
Yes, yes.
And So we may never see these documents.
No, we will get to see these documents, but before they are admitted to the record,
I see. I
Yeah.
see. I see. I see.
the defense will have to will have the chance to block the admission into evidence of these documents. But they are produced on
They
the
are
strength
produced.
of the subpoena. Yeah.
Okay. And also, let's say you're confronting the bank manager with the documents. Can they oppose that? Can they already?
No, not yet. On cross-examination, well, of course, they can opt not to cross, but that's dangerous for any party. If they have questions on the testimony, then they can propound those cross-examination questions. But on the document itself, they do that after.
I see. Okay. Now, they excluded dollar accounts, foreign currency accounts.
Yes.
Is this not a flaw in the law? Because if you're a public officer and you know, let's say you have bad intentions, dyan mo lalagay yung hidden wealth mo. Kasi you have to personally approve
Yes.
the opening.
Precisely, and I think that gap, that flaw, as you put it, in the law has persisted from the time of the impeachment of the Chief Justice,
Yes, it's still
Renato
there.
Corona, until now. And that, in fact, has been the gap which has been exploited by the defense to block the introduction of evidence having to do with the foreign currency deposits.
I suppose it's to protect foreign investors.
Yes,
That law
yes.
is meant to protect them. Pero, yes, it can be a way to seek to hide your wealth.
Well,
But,
in my opinion, even, yes, it is true that the Philippines has to have one eye on international protocols, international standards, but we are talking of the constitutional principle of accountability. And as you put it, ang daling itago. Di ba? Sa dollars ka na lang magtago.
tama. Pero kung sa 6.7 billion naman na sinabi ng AMLAC na dumaan sa kanyang mga accounts, it's already a huge sum of money.
Yes, in that sense, pwede na. You can take that loss.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay, but Senator Pia Cayetano pointed out that these transactions were already opened in the House Justice Committee, citing that it may be the fruit of a poisonous tree because she believes, as the defense had presented, that is it Section 8A of that law that prohibits opening of accounts.
Well, that doctrine arose from illegal searches and seizures. And as adequately explained in the proceedings earlier, the degree of invasiveness of a search warrant is totally leagues away from what a subpoena seeks to do. All right? 8A is there, but despite the apparently absolute confidentiality of AMLAC records, okay, there has in fact been several Supreme Court cases that feature facts involving subpoena issued by the Sandigan Bayan to the AMLAC and the AMLAC complying with it. Okay? And
So it's not absolute.
It's not absolute in real life.
And Chel Jokno pointed out actually that was meant more for leaks.
And
Do you agree?
as confirmed by the presiding officer, that 8A was introduced precisely because ang daming leaks, delikado masyado yung data ng AMLAC because of intelligence matters that come into the operations of AMLAC itself. Okay?
So it's for the protection. I guess it's against people inside who may be
corrupted
Yeah.
into divulging
Right.
sensitive material.
Okay, so hindi siya fruit of the poisonous
No,
tree.
not at all. Not at all. It wasn't meant to grant immunity to
Kasi
this.
what's the point pa of having an anti-money laundering law if you
Yes.
cannot
use it
use it?
to enforce accountability.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so hindi.
That's
And
clear.
you think that view is shared widely?
Yes, I don't know widely, but even if the defense were of the mind to go up to the Supreme Court, I am almost sure that the court, the Supreme Court, will throw that case out.
Really?
Yes.
But, okay, this was, and please explain it to us in layman's language, because this may be also the matter that the defense may bring to the Supreme Court, the matter of ratio decidendi versus obiter dicta. In the case of Duterte versus HOR, because this now goes to the broadness, no, of the subpoena. Bakit daw kailangan magsimula sa 2007? Why not only covering the acts while she was holding the impeachable position?
Yes. The problem of that approach, says, is that there are already several Supreme Court decisions that provide the evidentiary pathway towards fleshing out unexplained wealth cases.
Okay.
And this is to look at the entire pattern of accumulation from the time they were first required to submit SALNs. Okay? The SALN
So in the case
are
of the VP,
snapshots.
2007,
yeah,
Vice
2007. Right?
Pero bumasok kasi nga yung
Ratio.
Attorney Powa was citing na ratio decidendi na yung Supreme Court
Yes.
decision na yon. It's like the law.
Ratio decidendi means statements that are essential
Okay.
to the doctrine
Okay.
defined in that case.
Okay.
That goes directly into how the issues presented in that case were resolved.
Okay.
Obiter dicta are
Pasakalye lang.
other statements.
Not necessarily focusing on the main
Yeah,
case or on the doctrine.
I don't know who used it, but tama yun eh. These are by the way declarations that you'll find in any decision.
Okay. Because this is how Attorney Powa, if I may paraphrase him, said na itong kasong to, hindi mo pwedeng tignan ng iba. Yun lang, and I think even Senator Cayetano, it came during his lengthy
Interjections.
yes, that he said, yung mga, kung meron man siyang pagkakamali prior to the impeached, before she became VP, take it to an ordinary court, not the impeachment
Yeah,
court.
but that was why the decision read by the presiding officer, I think, was very, very clear on this point. The historical data from before VP Sara became VP is allowed, but only to provide baselines, to complete the story.
Baseline lang.
Yeah.
Oo.
And not in support of new articles of impeachment that pertain to new acts committed prior to her being vice president.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Like what kaya na nagpayaman na siya noon?
Yeah,
Or something that was incongruous to her SALN
Yes.
at that time.
disproportionate to the sources of her legitimate sources of income. Eh, sweldo lang yan, di ba?
But you know, it's more among our government officials or elected officials, talaga naman nakikita natin na nagnenegosyo sila eh. Hindi lang siya. Di ba?
Ay, hindi.
May
These
contractor
are-
ngang naging congressman, di ba?
Oo, pero dapat nagda-divest yan. Di ba?
Kaya nga sila
oo.
naging congressman para itulak ang negosyo nila, di ba?
Okay, that's the political economy of it. But law-wise, you have to divest.
Yeah.
Hindi pwedeng nakasawsaw ka rin doon. Kasi conflict, pagmumula ng conflict of interest yan.
Of course.
Diba?
So in her case, it's not so much, it can be back, parang you're in a position of influence, you're the vice president. So naturally, maraming lalapit sa yung opportunities. So it doesn't necessarily mean nangulimbat ka sa pera kaban ng bayan, pero nagpayaman ka because of your position.
Yes.
Pwede rin yun.
Yes, precisely.
Will that be part kaya of the prosecutions? Not necessarily.
No.
Hindi na.
Ang kailangan lang patunayan ng prosecution ay eto, merong kang transactions or nag-flow ang money through you in the billions of pesos. Pero ang SALN mo, 80 million lang. Sabi mo, wala kang cash in bank. Pero makikita natin siguro na more than that dun sa bank records na ilalabas ng BIR. Okay? So, these snapshots, along with the historical data,
Just na
mabubuo
hindi
yan.
sila nag-a-add up. No?
Oo.
Yung mga pera, yung amounts.
Ang
Hindi
depensa
sila
ngayon,
bumabangga, kumbaga.
That's right. Ang depensa ngayon should explain. Kasi hindi naman wealth ang pinaparusahan dito eh. Di ba? It's unexplained wealth. So you show the disparity and the burden shifts to the defense. Explain it. Otherwise, that's unexplained
Right.
wealth.
If you explain it by, well, may business kami.
Hindi.
Is that dangerous? Kasi hindi ka dapat nga mag-business.
dangerous kasi hindi ka dapat mag-business, right? So
So it's admitting.
I don't know how
Is
the
that a
explanation will be.
Now, yung property nila ni Mans Carpio, is that also a dangerous ground for the president or the vice president rather, or can she explain it? Because it's my husband who's engaging in business.
She can explain it, but probably not that way by pointing out that Mans is not her, because under the
I see.
family code, it's the presumption is absolute community. So it creates really an indivisible mass of wealth.
I
Hindi mo
see.
masasabi dyan, alin yung kay Sara, alin yung kay Attorney Carpio.
I see. So that's not
Alright.
that's not a possible defense.
I don't think there's any tenable defense in that direction. I really do not think that's the way to go.
Okay. Why do you think the VP got into these dangerous waters? Was it hubris? Why are you not clear in your salin? If that is proven to be true.
Probably impunity that has its roots back in Davao. And yun, heedless of all the
Of
pitfalls that
accountability. Parang
Yeah.
hindi ako mahahabol.
Oo. Who would dare? Di ba? So, apparently there are those who would dare.
But that kind of attitude has won them supporters. Up to now, she continues to hold high ratings.
Well, as I said previously, ratings are one thing, but as the evidence comes in, let us just hope that these are taken into consideration not only by the senator judges, but by the people, including those who supported the Vice President and President Duterte before her. Okay.
Okay, another issue that was brought up by those who questioned both prosecution and defense was the matter of fishing expedition naman to eh. You just wala kayong ebidensya, you're just using, parang, ano ba sabi niya, nagtapon ka ng lambat at gusto mong kunin ng kung ano yung masahod mo sa dagat.
A fishing expedition exists. If the prosecution went into this without any basis at all and tried to build its case out of exclusively out of evidence that they will get through subpoena and other compulsory processes. But that is not the case here. The House Committee already found prima facie evidence against the VP. And then the plenary also affirmed that finding of their committee and so sent the articles to the Senate. In the House Committee on Justice hearings, I remember the an AMLA executive, I think the head of AMLA himself, testified on suspicious transactions, and that were the result of their doing their job, their monitoring. Okay, so that was basis already. Remember, they did not bother to open. The committee did not even bother to open
The BIR.
the BIR because already at that point, even without the BIR ruling, evidence opened,
Okay.
may prima facie case na.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's go to that BIR box because it was also allowed. But let's see, how will this process work? Because the BIR may opt not to release.
I don't think that's an option for the BIR. The BIR, well, the president, once he is asked by the BIR
Okay.
commissioner,
So it's the BIR
may
that
have-
will ask the president.
following the Kim Henares formula during CJ Corona's impeachment. Sir, may sabina dito from the impeachment court. Ano? Lalabas ko ba?
So, ganon.
Ganon. Okay.
And siguro naman, no?
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, this administration has been rather somehow slow or,
Oo nga, pero
lacking the balls.
Oo,
if
pero
to use that
existential to eh. Para kay BBM eh. Di ba? I mean, the Dutertes have a reputation for being very vengeful. Okay? And if I were in the president's shoes, I would forget this notion that they'd be more civil towards me being a former president.
Well, his video was cited, was played by the defense na gusto ko na ng reconciliation, his first podcast.
Right. And yes, that was really a source of consternation for many people. Why? Why, 'di ba? Yun na nga, this time around siguro alam na niya, 'di ba? That was, I think, before him sending or allowing the extradition of Duterte to
Yeah,
The Hague.
I
Right?
think yes, this was before.
So nag-iba na, I would suppose. And I think even Bongbong would realize that, President Marcos.
Okay, so we expect that to happen. Now, the tax records will also be, once the president approves the transmission of the tax records, that can be opened as well.
Yes, ITR yan.
If you were in the defense, would you not, what would you advise your client? Pwede bang ako na lang magbukas niyan?
Well,
Unahan mo na sila.
hindi na eh. Naunahan na sila eh.
Wala pa naman eh.
Well, probably instead of objecting the way we outlined earlier, probably
Or
the
going to the
defense, before the prosecution presents the witness who will be testifying on these documents, they can probably stand up and
They can.
say that these are the relevant documents that you're looking for. Ganon.
If they have nothing to hide. You
That's-
cannot
that's
do that
all.
if you have something to hide. You cannot.
Yes.
And that's the contention of the prosecution because VP Saras never directly confronted these allegations.
She has never denied these charges against her.
Sabi mo nga, that was, many have pointed out, I think it was Senator Bam Aquino. Nothing in her answer to the impeachment court
Yes.
there was no denial.
The matter of a general denial really does not have the power of specific denials. Okay? Saying that I did not threaten, that is not there in the answer to the articles.
Okay. So you feel better now after this Monday. You weren't really sure about how this impeachment would go. So now you have hope that, the truth will finally come out?
Yes, because I came into this chapter of our national life in the hope that the evidence somehow finds its way to the people. Okay, regardless again says of
the vote.
of the vote. What lies after that is the thing that matters. There resides our future as a country.
And do you see that public interest is perking up?
Well, yes, because let me put it this way, mas madrama yung threats, di ba? Pero potentially, mas delikado ito para sa defense. Kaya nasa dulo ito eh. Binook-end yan eh. Yung pinakamalakas versus yung pinakamadrama. In between, yung bribery, tsaka yung use of confidential, di ba?
Confidential funds.
Pero ito yung unexplained wealth. Alam na ng tao yan because of Corona and ERAP, di ba? Alam na ng tao yan. So, aabangan yan. Okay? This is patikim for Article 2 that will be
2.
litigated
Right.
towards
At the end. At
Yeah.
the end. So mga, kailan ba yan?
October.
Pasko?
Di naman, sana. 102 days daw eh. So, nagbilang din ako kanina eh.
So kailan yun?
Before November.
So it will be a good Christmas, you think?
Sana.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Well,
for that.
always appreciate your insights, classmate. Not in
walang
law
problema,
school, I wish. Hanggang high school lang. Attorney Rafi Aquino there of the Free Legal Assistance Group. Thank you so much.
Salamat, Ses.
You're watching the big story on One News. Outside the impeachment court, the word war between two senator judges just got more heated.
Ganon din kay Senator Lacson, di ba? Ano yung actual, I didn't really pay that much attention, pero parang dumoble yung kanyang salin, tapos sinabi niya sa negosyo. So, we're giving him a chance to explain. Nag-explain siya kahit walang nagtatanong.
I will exert extra effort to really find those pieces of evidence, documento man o testimonial man. Hindi ko matanggap na, alam mo, yung pinagkakaingat-ingatan mo sa buong karir mo, more than 50 years, tapos sisirain na isang tao na naninira lamang, wala namang basihan.
Nating gamitin ang oras
former Vice President, now Naga City Mayor Leni Robredo there at the pilot run of the Angat Bayanihan fundraising event. Could the chance of her supporters mean something more? Though indirectly, Robredo has repeatedly said she is not seeking higher office in the 2028 national elections. This is still the big story on One News. President Marcos continues to lose ground in his trust rating, the latest being from Pulse Asia. Vice President Sara Duterte's numbers, on the other hand, remain steady. The chief executive's trust rating dropped 7 points from March to 28% in July, while his distrust rating rose 7 points to 51%. His approval rating slid 7 points to 29%, and disapproval went up 5 points to 50%. As for the VP, her trust rating climbed 4 points to 58%, while her distrust rating shed 1 point and settled at 27%. Overall, her approval rating held at 56%. Pulse Asia's survey follows that of the social weather stations, where trust in the president was also at an almost record low, while confidence in the vice president remained high. The National Bureau of Investigation has started summoning personalities linked to the 2019 SEA Games and the alleged anomalies that hounded it. A subpoena could be issued for Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, who was on top of the multi-million peso event. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza with the report.
Just 3 days ago, NBI Director Melvin Matibag said Senator Alan Peter Cayetano will not be summoned in the probe of alleged 2019 SEA Games anomalies. By Monday, a slightly different tune, Cayetano will be encouraged to come forward if his co-officials tag him. Cayetano was chair of the Philippine SEA Games Organizing Committee, or FISGOC, the non-government organization formed under the Duterte administration for the staging of the SEA Games. From documents gathered, Cayetano's name does not appear in FISGOC's board of directors. It was Philippine Volleyball President Ramon Tatsuzara who's chairman of the group. The initial NBI subpoenas are for Suzara, Chief Financial Officer Dexter Estacio, and Corporate Secretary John Lester Buenconsejo.
Kahit sinong abogadong tanungin natin na bago ka maging chairman, kailangan membro ka ng board. Nangyari pala dyan, he was appointed as an interim chairman by the PLC. Pero ang instruction sa kanya is to immediately incorporate the PISGO. So na-incorporate yan, gumawa, pero he's not part of the directors.
The NBI has already formed a task force that will look into the alleged lack of liquidation reports on the committee's expenses, which totaled to around 10 billion pesos, as well as alleged anomalies in the bidding process. Also to be investigated is the 50 million peso cauldron, which critics said just cost too much for goodwill. Goodwill that Cayetano does not have for Matibag, whom he called a minion in one Facebook Live.
Shout out sa iyo ngayong Sunday na to, Melvin the Minion. Ang nangyayari po ngayon ay may mga mastermind talaga at may mga minions.
While Matibag is letting Cayetano's comments slide, but the palace has a sharper comeback.
Well, hindi na natin siguro mapatulan yan. Pagka wala kasing mabuting i-argumento dun sa mga inahayag sa'yo na dapat mo sagutin, wala kang masagot, you'll go to name calling.
Sa aking pagkakaalam, ang salitang minions ay wala naman sa Biblia. So, wala pong ginagawa ngayon ang senador, si Senador Alan Cayetano, kung hindi magturo at manira ng iba. Ang pag-iimbestiga po na gagawin ng NBI ay mandato po ito. Trabaho po nila na tugunan ang mga issue patungkol sa korupsyon. Kung hindi naman po siya natatakot sa anumang issue ng korupsyon, hindi naman po siguro siya manggagalaiti.
Malacanang also hit back at Cayetano for blaming President Bongbong Marcos over his stalled bill, promising 10,000 pesos for each Filipino family during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kaya ng ating budget magbigay. Pero pagkapanalo ni President Marcos, ayaw niya.
Pero every single year po, tinatanong ko yon sa aming Chairman of Finance, 2 to 300, minsan 400 billion ang ayuda. So kaya pong bigyan ng 10K. Towards 2023, ako na mismo nagsabi, kailangan pa rin pero kailangan targeted at ang dapat unahin, syempre may sakit kasi yun talaga may kailangan.
Itong mga kahinaan ni Senator Alan Cayetano, kabagalan, at hindi at walang kakayanan sa pagtupad sa kanyang pangako, ay huwag niya pong ipahid sa ibang tao. Akuin niya mismo kung ano ang kanyang kakulangan. Ipinangako niya po itong 10K kada pamilya. Hindi na nga po umusad nung siya ay miyembro ng Kongreso. Pero ginawa pa po niya to na pangako sa kanyang pangangampanya.
For his part, now Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon said he is ready to be probed. He used to head the Bases Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA, which housed the facility built for the SEA Games 7 years ago.
Magkakasang loob natin at talagang napakaganda ng mga facilities na yon. Nakita nyo naman, no? Nagbigay yan ng pride sa atin nung SEA Games noong 2019. Pati mga dayuhan, pati mga taga-Singapore, pinupuri yan.
Kapatid Amy Atienza, BR1 News.
Now, another hot topic is a word war between Senator Judges Ping Lacson and Alan Peter Cayetano. During a Facebook Live on Saturday, Cayetano questioned Lacson's net worth, which supposedly ballooned between 2022 and 2025.
Ganon din kay Senator Lacson, di ba? Ano yung actual, I didn't really pay that much attention, pero parang dumoble yung kanyang salin, tapos sinabi niya sa negosyo. So, we're giving him a chance to explain. Nag-explain siya kahit walang nagtatanong.
Lacson was quick to answer in a post on X, saying that his wealth did not just double but actually quadrupled. Senator Ping thanks real estate deals and other legitimate businesses for the windfall, which he said he got as a private citizen. In fact, he added he even paid millions of pesos in taxes, which are reflected in his income tax returns. Not like Cayetano, Lacson said, whom he accused of having 6.79 billion pesos in budget insertions under the 2025 General Appropriations Act. By Sunday morning, Lacson's next post cited informants and witnesses willing to provide enough information and evidence to put Cayetano in his so-called proper place, the new Quezon City Jail in Payatas. The senator ended by saying, quote, "My integrity is my first and last line of defense." Senator Cayetano has crossed the line by attacking it. Cayetano responded to this with another Facebook Live.
Kung interesado ka talaga sa flood controls, Senator, Panfilo ang pangalan mo pero nililito mo lang mga tao So, Senator Panglito Lacson.
On Monday over True FM, Lacson explained once more how he amassed wealth during the years that he was not a public official.
Nung nasa labas ako ng gobyerno, so nagkaroon kami ng isang real estate deal na medyo malaki. Hanggang ngayon, as we speak, meron pa kaming collectibles. Basta nagko-correspond doon sa aking income, pinapal ko ng tama kasi nagko-consult din ako sa mga kaibigan kong taga-BIR. Katunayan, pagka inilabas yung income tax returns mo, either kailangan may written authority pa ng presidente, pero ikinusa ko na nga yung halagang binayaran ko para mapakita ko na kinita ko sa maayos na paraan yan.
The former Senate Blue Ribbon Committee chair also had another bombshell. Alan Peter's estranged brother, former Taguig Mayor, and now PTV4 General Manager Lino Cayetano is one of those volunteering information on the alleged corruption in their city. Lino has not confirmed this.
I was quoting those who sent word na gusto nilang tumulong. Sinasabi nila, ang dapat paglagyan dyan yung Payatas sa Quezon City Jail kasi nga maraming anomalya doon sa mga proyekto sa Taguig. Siya yung may insertion na 6.79 billion pesos Sa 2025, GAA pa lang yan. Hindi niya nga ito ma-address eh. Ayaw niya nga sagutin eh. Dahil totoo, may record eh. Out of the 70 projects do sa 6.79 billion, dalawa lang yung hindi na-implement. Nasa mga 70 to 75 million. So ang na-implement niya, 6.715 billion. So ano yung mga proyekto na yun? Kasi kung maliwanag, kasi liwanag nung dalawang privilege speeches ko doon sa Bulacan, sa BGC Boys, sa Occidental Mindoro, mas magandang i-deliver ko lang ng privilege speech. Mag-interpellate siya kung gusto niya. Iko-confront ko sa kanya yung matibay at maliwanag na ebidensya.
In other news, all 81 Filipino seafarers aboard 4 Philippine-registered vessels have safely exited the Strait of Hormuz. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the vessels successfully transited the waterway during the last week of June. Most of the seafarers have resumed their duties, while others have returned home to their families. The agency assured it will continue to monitor Filipinos who remain in the region following the suspension of evacuation operations. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz was disrupted amid re-intensified conflict between the United States and Iran. Over 3,700 Filipino seafarers have successfully exited the Middle East war zone in recent months. However, Department of Migrant Workers officials note that overall exit numbers have slowed down lately due to the resumption of hostilities. The DMW reported that 9 ships carrying a total of 139 Filipino crew members have been caught in a crossfire over the Black Sea. That's while anchored or transiting across ports in southern Ukraine and Russia. 124 seafarers have been confirmed safe and unharmed, but 2 have died and 12 are injured while 1 seafarer remains missing.
July 6 yung attack sa Black Sea. Yes, tama. We have communicated with the family, and the second one, which just happened yesterday, we are currently reaching out to the family, and within this day, makakadaupalad na namin ng pamilya at bibigyan na ng ganap na tulong. Medical treatment, psychological support, evacuation, repatriation arrangements are being facilitated for the injured crew members.
This is a big story on One News, and coming up, baton-wielding Chinese Coast Guard personnel strike Philippine Navy members off Ayungin Shoal. 1 Filipino service member has sustained serious head injuries.
nating gamitin ang oras ng impeachment court sa pagpapaliwanag o sa pagtatanggol ng ating mga sarili. Bring it to the press, bring it to the social media, but not here.
Sabi ni Senator Joker Arroyo, it is useless to argue a legal point with a non-lawyer.
I do not have 4 years of law, but I have 29 years of lawmaking. And I move that the manifestations of that we have heard be referred to the Senate proper.
Now the big story tomorrow, another big-time oil price hike. The Department of Energy has set the maximum price increase for diesel at almost 11 pesos per liter, gasoline at 365, and kerosene at 11.77 pesos per liter. Oil companies like Shell and Sea Oil will implement staggered price hikes. Diesel, for instance, will rise by 8.20 per liter tomorrow, 1.20 on Wednesday, and another 1.20 or 1 peso and 20 centavos on Thursday. The complete list is flashed on your screen. Energy Secretary Sharon Garin assures adequate oil supply despite renewed tensions in the Middle East. Philippine fuel inventory as of July 17 can last by an average of 45.77 days. But the energy crisis may be exacerbated after Iran asked Yemen's Houthi to close the Red Sea gateway if the U.S. attacks its power network. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says funds are likewise sufficient to cover some assistance for PUV drivers affected by the big-time pump price increases. The Department of Foreign Affairs vows to act on another Chinese harassment incident off Ayungin Shoal. The assault resulted in at least one service personnel severely injured. Video taken just today shows a large Chinese boat seemingly dragging one Philippine Navy inflatable boat. Chinese Coast Guard personnel can be seen striking the Filipinos with wooden batons. The Pinoys retaliated with their paddles. Eventually, they were able to flee the Chinese. The armed forces later explained that the said Chinese rigid-hull inflatable boat carrying 8 personnel unlawfully approached VRP Sierra Madre off Ayungin Shoal. It circled and took photos and videos of the grounded vessel, prompting personnel from 2 AFP rubber boats to calmly drive Beijing's boat away. Though the act was non-confrontational, the Chinese reacted violently and hit randomly with one strike, seriously injuring a Pinoy on the head. The Navy personnel has been attended to but may need medical evacuation. The AFP was swift to condemn the incident, calling it a blatant disregard for safety. It also called on the People's Liberation Army, the China Coast Guard, and their maritime militia to put a stop to illegal and aggressive actions within the West Philippine Sea. The Department of National Defense likewise decried the latest act of violence, saying the incident adds to a clear pattern of provocative and hostile behavior and further contributes to Beijing's deficit of trust and credibility. The Ayungin encounter comes just as ASEAN events unfold. One VIP is U.S. Secretary or State Secretary Marco Rubio, who will pay a courtesy call on President Marcos during a week-long stay here. The palace has not yet detailed when the Marcos and Rubio face-to-face will happen. Rubio will be in Manila until July 23 for a series of ASEAN meetings with foreign ministers and senior officials, as well as regional dialogue partners. The U.S. State Department says Rubio will advance a free and open Indo-Pacific, demonstrate tangible results of U.S.-ASEAN partnership, and deepen Washington's ties with Manila. Meantime, in a press conference ahead of the 59th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting, the DFA has confirmed a bilateral meeting between Secretary Teresa Lazaro and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. The meeting comes on the heels of the Ayungin Shoal assault and China Daily's AI video depicting the Philippines as a timid monkey acting on orders of the US and Japan. And if you happen to be by the Intramuros Esplanade in Manila, you're in for some visual treat. Our big picture tonight is the BB Florentino Das, a modern replica of the Filipino balangay or balanghay boat, currently moored along the Pasig River. Constructed in 2024, the 24-meter vessel is made of Philippine ironwood sourced from Siargao Island. Balanghay is the centerpiece for the 2026 ASEAN Summit logo, symbolizing regional unity and a shared maritime heritage. And those are the big stories this Monday, July 20. I'm Cesorenia Drilon. Kapatid, we are One News, your side, all the time. Have a good night.